My father often dreamed of getting out of what he called poverty. He was warm, he was caring, he was loving, he was generous to a fault. And that's the way I'd like to remember my dad. Whoever is granted to them, O Lord, demand over all their souls of the faithful departed through the mercy of God, rest in peace. Amen. In the name of the Father, and of the Son, and of the Holy Spirit. Amen. Lord, someday I will know who put the fatal bullet to my father to end his life. I pray, dear Lord, for my father, my mother, and my grandfather who are buried here today. Amen.
Well, the media and everyone immediately chalks it up to a gangland slaying. They want it to look like a gangland slaying. But Sam Gincana's murder was really the first murder of a boss in many, many years. Over the years, Sam Gincana lived by an old code, omerta. He never talked to anybody over the years. He always included everyone in his dealings. Everyone made money with Sam. So there was never any reason for him to be on the outs with anyone.
You see where that beige triangular-shaped thing is with the door? That's where the assassin got in and went into the kitchen and killed my father. One bullet would have been enough, but 7 were too many.
It had to be somebody they let in the house. And the gun, which was a specially made gun, a .22, with a long silencer barrel, with special holes drilled in it. So it had the power almost of a magnum, you know, type of gun.
Being a 22.
Yes, being a .22, and here's this, killed him and shot him 5 times in the mouth, which means, and I guess in mob jargon, don't talk, you know.
Well, he was a psychopath, but he also was the most cunning guy they ever had and the biggest money producer that the mob ever had. He got into all kinds of things for the mob. He was innovative, and he came up with ideas that made fortunes upon fortunes for the crime syndicate. And then but he had a high profile, and he was the government fought to put him in prison. They couldn't convict him of a hard crime, so what they did is they brought him in before the grand jury and offered him immunity. He didn't take immunity, and he stayed in jail for a long period of time. When he got out, they planned to bring him back again and do the very same thing. So he took off for Mexico.
And then he got kicked down to Mexico. And he comes back here. And now he wants more power, more take, more influence. Not unlike Hoffa, things were already set. Everything was fine. And Giancana, having been gone that long, did not have the power base and the soldiers and the people answering to him. And he was eliminated. It was, you know, a, quote, business decision in terms of the mafia organization in the truest sense of the word.
I have the two opposite ends of the spectrum as far as to who killed my dad. I thought at the time it was the CIA because he was going to testify in committee regarding the Castro problem.
The object of the mission was to deliver a team of assassins with a special weapon, and they were supposed to, since they went into Cuba and into Havana, they were supposed to shoot Castro.
Sir, based on my knowledge of the three individuals who were working with the CIA, I believe that the first approach was in fact made to Mr. Roselli. Mr. Roselli could not and would not have entertained agreeing to working for the CIA or taking any action with the CIA without the permission of his superior, who was Sam Giancana.
Sam Gold was alleged mafia leader Sam Giancana, and Joe was another alleged mafia chieftain, Santos Trafficante. Trafficante was to arrange to get poison pills into Cuba, which were to be put in Castro's food.
The CIA connection, I don't know. I'm convinced that he had it, and I think that the laws in the United States prohibit me from telling you exactly why I know this, but I feel very strongly in my own mind that he had definite connection with the CIA. But where that link came from, whether it was to Johnny Roselli or any number of other people, and why, who knows.
And then I also think maybe 10% of me thinks that maybe they, meaning Accardo and the rest of these wild men, thought my father was going to talk. Well, if I could say something now, my father wouldn't have talked.
I do not think it would have been in Sam Giancana's Constitution to be an informant of any type, public, private, governmental. And I just don't believe that was the reason he was murdered.
I've got to say something right now to let you know that all of the men that came to our home and all of the men that I had met at the weddings and wakes and things like that, on the bad side, will say, I liked. There was just something really neat about these guys, like Leonard Cafano and Accardo, and there was a rat pack of Peter Lawford and all of these wonderful theater people. Frank Sinatra. They were very dear friends, my father and Sinatra.
Did you ever discuss with Mr. Giancana the fact that you might be a front for him at the Cal Neva, or that he might have some type of a hidden interest there?
No, never. I never invited Mr. Giancana to come to Cal Neva Lodge. I never entertained him, and I never saw him.
And all of a sudden, I turned the television on, and Sinatra's in front of the committee, and they asked if he had known or associated. And Sinatra blatantly says, no, I don't know the man, and this thing and that thing and the other thing. Well, in my rage, I got on the phone, and I called the commission there, and I said, this man is lying. I've seen him here and there, and whatever. Those people, I mean, I don't know how dumb they are or what they were trying to prove. Do you have dates and times and this and that and the other thing? And I says, no, I don't have the dates and times and things like that. I don't keep a diary, and I will never keep a diary. I says, the government keeps a good diary for me anyway.
To tell us whether if you have opposition from anybody that you dispose of them by having them stuffed in a trunk. Is that what you do, Mr. Giancana?
Decline to answer because I honestly believe my answer might tend to incriminate.
Will you tell us anything about any of your operations, or you just giggle every time I ask you a question?
Decline to answer because I honestly believe my answer might tend to incriminate me.
I thought only little girls giggled, Mr. Giancana.
Joe Kennedy, he developed all this problem because he was Chicago mob from the start. He bought this merchandise mart here under Roosevelt for nothing practically. He was running booze. He was supplying the Prohibition people with money, and he became the dealer for all the Scotch whiskey in Scotland. So he was off. We have him playing golf with Roselli. He's up at Lake Tahoe with Giancana. That's a fact.
There's no question that Joe Kennedy, through his mafia contacts, got the mafia to help elect his son, first to have him nominated as a candidate and then in West Virginia, and then to elect him in the state of Illinois, because Sam Giancana controlled certain crucial districts where if he got the vote from those districts, he would win the state of Illinois, and that would give him the election. No doubt about that. Joseph Kennedy asked for the help from the mob.
All I know is that the Chicago machine got Kennedy elected, and that's all I could say about it. I mean, I guess Sam campaigned quite a deal for Kennedy for some unbelievable reason.
Joseph Kennedy, again, recognized we need the mob's assistance in making sure the vote gets out for Jack Kennedy. At that time, money was important because they could pay off people to make sure that certain people votes. And it's been rumored that thousands of dollars were contributed. I know for a fact that my uncle contributed $500,000 of his own money. It was rumored $50,000 that the Chicago outfit put forth, but that was not the case. It was $500,000.
Joe Kennedy was a pirate. He was an unscrupulous type of businessman who made his initial amount of capital, initial money, selling illegal alcohol, illegal liquor. He was briefly in partnership with Frank Costello, who was a mobster. And so he started out his career in an illegal business. Then he got into various legitimate businesses, such as the movie business. He was very big in the movie business in Hollywood in the 1920s. But he was always noted for extremely unscrupulous business tactics.
The only thing I can say about this is that, first of all, it's perfectly clear that Joe Kennedy wanted to have his son president. But during my more than 6 years of being close to Kennedy on foreign affairs and defense policy, I was never once aware that Joe Kennedy was having any influence at all. In other words, and on policy, no. Now, I think that I think it's perfectly true that Joe Kennedy probably twisted a lot of people's arms to make contributions to Jack Kennedy's campaign. I wouldn't doubt that a bit. But I